All right, a very good morning. It is the 18th of October 2023, 17 minutes past 7 a.m. This is the West Nile TV Kokoliriko show that comes every Monday to Friday. We're back on with some of the stories that are running within the region, but also national. There are so many issues that are happening, and all that will be discussed in this show. My name is Federick Dramadri. I'll be taking you up to the hour of 10 minutes to 9 a.m. That will be answering us to the news in Lugbara, brought to you by Fete Emmanuel, but also behind the news headlines is Farish Majid, who is the editor for Lugbara News. But also there are so many issues that we'll be really moving into. But before we move to issues, we want to say thank you very much for keeping it locked to West Nile Television. I hope you had the best of your day with Farish Majid yesterday. He was the one who sat in here for me because I had to take that initiative of moving to assess the impact of the livelihood programs by government in some of the rural districts. Talk about Yume district where I went, and also passed it through Terego district, and the issues of the roads and so on are some of the things that we were looking at. Talking about some of the livelihood interventions, we will talk about different programs that are supporting the rural poor. Talk about the Mioga, the PDM that is currently the hot cake of the debates around the implementation of some of the initiatives that government wants to deploy in order to really move away from extreme poverty among the communities. And I remember yesterday talk about the Minister for Education and Sports, who is the First Lady of this country, Miss Janet Kataham 7, actually yesterday said the government is actually committed in alleviating people from poverty, but also reducing vulnerability among Ugandans. And this is done through PDM, through some of these interventions, like the PDM is actually Paris Development Model, for those who do not know, but also the Mioga, that the wealth, job and wealth creation initiatives, talk about the youth livelihood, the Uganda Women Support, Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program, that is OWEP, and many other grants that come to the communities. Talk about the persons with disability grants, which are categorized into two. We have the special grants, and then you have the PWD grants. And these are some of the interventions that government is rolling out. How is it in your area? How is it in your district? And how life-changing are the beneficiaries, okay? These are some of the things we want to really hear from you. For you who is watching us from your smartphone, or you want to watch us on any other thing, you need to follow us online and so on. There is an avenue already created, apart from using the Zuku channel, which is 073. You can be able to really tap into YouTube and follow us on the Kokoliriko live. That is there, and you'll be able to follow us right away from there. But also there are so many other issues that are within the region. Talk about the issues of high charges levied on pupils in public schools. Okay, these are public primary schools. One of the schools cited was in Yume district, where a primary school that has decided to accommodate all the learners in the school, and especially the primary 7 class, is charging 328,000 Ugandan shillings, and this is far away from the private schools that are in the district. Okay, the highest private school is charging 280,000 Ugandan shillings. So are we providing a free service to the people, or we are providing actually a very expensive service to the people? And those are some of the issues that are really making many people frustrated and move away from really these public schools. But also some of the causes of dropouts could be attributed to some of these issues. Okay, those fees are comprised of the PTA, the foundation, the boarding fee, the feeding fee, security, light, okay, some of those kind of things, and so many of this. You realize that even the school does not have adequate infrastructure to accommodate these children to sleep in. So they don't have daycares, but these guys, these children actually lie all the mattress down the floor, and that's where they are able to really do with accommodation, and also really have that hostel facility utilized. But this is health-wise a very wrong initiative. But also talk about the impact of this to the parents. Okay, many parents are complaining that these decisions were taken at executive level, and parents were not consulted. They only saw the circular, and there were no PTA meetings that were really geared towards following up this keenly. But that is something that the district leadership need to take up and really understand what could be going on wrong. Because if we have thousands of learners who are out, okay, who have dropped out of school because of maybe the parents cannot afford to pay some of these dues, that is one unfortunate thing we will continue to be having as a region, as a district, as communities, okay. When we don't have learned persons, we're bound to continue with the issues of poverty, the issues of many challenges, okay. The criminalities that are increasing every day could be fought when we take children to school, okay. Those are some of the things. Remember, we have been receiving a lot of rains. Now that these rains have really brought a lot of flooding, okay, in most of the streams, most of the rivers that we have in this region. You will realize that river now has started misbehaving, taking away people's crops, washing away people's crops, and taking animals, and some of the people have survived drowning, okay, because they could not really pass the water, okay, across the either sides of the river, okay. Those are some of the things that are happening, and this is because many times when we are sensitized, we come to engage the community about some of the implications of encroaching along the buffer zones and so on. This needed to be really done frequently. It's not like one way off, or you go to a radio station and talk. It's not like that. You have to go physically and move to these buffer zones and talk to the people individually, understand why they are not moving away from these buffer zones. And it is very, very important if some of the stakeholders are involved, like the environment officers, the community development officers, the production officers. Every department has a linkage to environment. So we should be able to really do that, because there are some of the institutions that are even established along the buffer zones of rivers. Talk about schools, okay. Some of the schools have been submerged just because they cannot really move away from the buffer zones, and those are some of the critical areas. When we're giving licenses to some of these institutions, what are the considerations that we're taking as administrators, as the implementers, the duty bearers? What are those things we look at before we license a school to start operations? Those are things we need to really focus so much if we want to really move away from that. Remember, many times when there are heavy downpours like that, we always experience outbreaks of diseases, various diseases. Talk about human diseases, talk about some of these zoonotic diseases, talk about many other epidemics, okay. Malaria increase is always in the charge, okay. Malaria cases are on the charge, and also you realize that some communities begin contracting this cholera, okay. Cholera becomes a burden to the communities, but also beyond cholera, you will have these issues of diarrhea, dysentery, okay, some of those kind of those 3 Ds that we used to write in primary. Those are the experiences you always get. So we should be prepared as we are receiving these rains right away. But we are very happy that from October to November, government is rolling out the second phase of mosquito net distribution. This should be able to reach every household, and the persons who are going to distribute these mosquito nets should be able to reach every household. Let's not eliminate others and we give others mosquito nets. Okay, it is very, very important that we reach every household, because if you don't reach my home, that means I'll be one of the persons who will be harboring the disease, but also contributing to the society to increase in cases of malaria, because mosquitoes that bite me when I have the germs in me, they will be able to suck it and take it to another person, and yet this person is sleeping under treated mosquito nets, but because of the interactions we have with these insects, okay, it will be hard for us to fight this kind of disease. But also this is also termed or tailored towards the attitude of the communities. Can we go ahead to start preventing malaria from homes? Okay, when you are maybe you have water points around your home, you have bushes around. There are some people's homes, when you go to them, you feel like you are in the bush, because all over the compound you see grasses tall, and also the person doesn't care. What he cares is about what is at the doorway, okay, how he's able to access in. There are some people who even throw themselves out, okay, they cannot really walk gently because the grasses have grown. They cannot even take care about the compound. Beautification of the compound is one thing, but also these doing a lot of slashing, maybe sometimes moving, harrowing, doing all those kind of things is very, very important. If we are able to minimize the grasses, and also if you cannot maintain the grasses, do away with them. But also, if you cannot do the aspect of improving the drainage channels at your homestead, you should be able to do it. Whether you don't have the techniques, you should be able to learn it from a colleague, because those are the breeding grounds for these mosquitoes. But also, let's ensure that in our rooms we have these white paints, okay? The white paints with lighting system, it will scare all the mosquitoes in your room. It is very, very important. If we avoid those dark corners, if we avoid all those breeding grounds, talk about these broken bottles that are able to accumulate water. But also, if you are drinking water from a pot, make sure that you are able to cover it, okay? Once you have maybe gotten water from the pot, you should be able to cover the pot very smartly to avoid contamination, to avoid mosquitoes breeding in these kind of things. Let's move away from this. After this break, we should be able to move into the issues that are happening within this region, and be able to come back with those kind of topics. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Football, our boys is our style. Star Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it.
What a finish from Kukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL. Our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. Earlier on, I told you that we are going to really start sketching, scratching on some of the key issues that are happening within this region, but also looking at what is happening at the national scene. Some of those things could really shape discussions around where you are, and also you should be able to contribute to some of this by really moving to the YouTube channel and also commenting, bringing us those detailed analysis of the situation on ground. Okay, let's move to this issue of the roads. Okay, the poor road network in Western region has continued to affect the socio-economic transformation. Okay, the connecting roads, talk about the trunk roads that are maintained by Uganda National Roads Authority, the authority that has been established officially by the Act of Parliament to oversee road connectivity in this region. You realize that most of the roads that are connecting districts are really dilapidated in nature, but also they have a lot of potholes. Some of the locals have decided to name the roads in the names of the lakes that we have in this region. Talk about River Nile that has already been formed on the road that connects Rua to Yumbe via Terego district, but also Yumbe to Obongi district. And this is one of the roads that has really continued to be a deaf spot, but also the gullies formed already on the road are really so scary. Let's take a look of some of the footages that I picked when I was moving to Yumbe district and really understand how the magnitude of what we're talking about is really impacting on the social and economic life of our people, but also how it is for us now to use some of those roads, especially if you are walking or if you are using vehicles, how difficult it is to access one district from the other. And that is where we want to really move. From the production team, let's move there and some of parts of the roads. Okay, if you are able to see where from the main district, BD Primary, that is in Orupi Sub-County, from BD Primary up to Yumbe Town Council, the district headquarters, that is the worst part of this road. And you realize that people cannot easily access some parts of this road, because many times the pedestrians are forced to cross to people's gardens, and also many times also if your car cannot be able to move very far. Let's hear from that lady what she has been able to say on this. Okay.
Me too. Udozo ibi vogale bendida. Iligbe miru koroda. Ipiki jigara. Iligbe miru koroda. Edinde me free me we dress vi de garani. Nyango irlaru lulu oro sigara doru. Deje. Yaru tete deni. So dangana Udu daza koku. Bazila na rula di chimi to dana ni mimusi minga mirewe.
Okay, that is it. And you realize that many women who have been really doing businesses have been cut off because of the situation that is on ground. If you look at that kind of road that is supposed to really be at least in a very good state, you realize that many times people face a lot of difficulties. There are so many accidents that are caused on such roads. There are so many, just because somebody is looking for the better alternative on this same road. And when you monitor it closely, you realize that vehicles that are a bit lower may not be able to access some of those kind of roads, okay? But it will be of disservice if we cannot really inject a lot of money in rehabilitating roads, but also improving the quality of the roads that we have. You realize that this road has been worked on for maybe maybe a difference of, maybe it was worked on last financial year, we can't tell. But if you look at the banks of the road, okay, talk about the sides, they are bushy. You can really tell that this road was worked some time back, just because the drainage channels are not there, the waterways, you cannot see them. The same road is just like a flat compound, okay? And look at that border who is moving. You realize that somebody has to wear gumboots for you to move, and yet you were really planning to go somewhere to do something, maybe in a different attire. You can easily get darts on you. You see that? Look at that. And really, we really hope that really the central government has to do something about this. The debates about this road started way back in 2005, when many of our members of parliament, who were mainly opposition candidates, fronted this on the floor of parliament, and they really talked about it terrible. And many times many people said that this will be really worked on, and there were promises that the Chinese companies were already doing surveys on the road, and contracts were to be awarded, but you cannot tell when this is going to be worked on. The recent reports that were released by the Minister of Works and in this country really indicated that this road was not among those that were earmarked to be rehabilitated or improved or tarmacked by this financial year or even next financial year. It has not been captured. So this could be some of the interventions that government should be able to take. There's strides be taken to improve some of these kind of roads. I don't know in other districts what the state of the roads are, but this is where I was able to really spot some of those issues. But we need to really advocate jointly, but also if there are officials of government that are really seeing what is happening on ground, we should be able to really front some of these things. What are the priorities that we want to really invest in? Recently, the government released 9 trillion for different agencies to start work, and there were promises of 1 billion per district. I hope these monies have been dispersed to improve the road sector, but also other sectors that are also in the need of really connectivity. Okay, if we connect districts, we are able to improve services, because people people from one district move to the other to transact a lot of businesses, and all this money is tabulated into the taxes that we pay. But also if the livelihoods of the people are improved, we would be able to really see that we have a better region to believe in, okay, in terms of social economic transformation, and also in terms of people's vulnerability being improved, okay. Instead of people being every time waiting from government what is coming on, people be able to really think around and say, maybe the produce I have here, the market is in Arua, okay. For instance, from Yumbe district, somebody will be able to grow maybe sea or beans or groundnuts, which are okay, groundnuts which does very well in Yumbe district. So they will be able to have free access to market when the roads are worked on. And the road from Yumbe district or the Yumbe town council via Terego district to Arua city is the shortest route, other than really moving to Koboko, actually via Marasa district to Koboko, and then you reach Yumbe district. It is quite a long journey. But also looking at that road, it is also having more potholes, and it is easier for UNRWA to work on this road from Manibe sub-county, the former Manibe sub-county, which is in Ivory division, to Terego district, and then moving to that junction to Obongo district, and then to Yumbe district, and then connecting to Moyo district, which is a very good road that can be able to connect different districts. And that means if this road is worked on, there is a free access to market for those in Obongi, for those in Yumbe, and those in Moyo district to Arua city, and that will be very easy. So those who are in the planning, we are still in the planning season, we should be able to factor in some of these roads really to make sure that people are connected. Interconnection of the people is very important, but also this is an economically viable infrastructure that government can really invest in, and doing this you will be able to really see the returns through the improvement of these social services. Talk about talk about the markets, talk about moving to health facilities. For people from Obongi to come to Yumbe Referral Hospital, they need this road worked on, because for them to come from Obongi, they have to use the shortcut and come to Yumbe Regional Referral Hospital to do that. They don't need to really move to Moyo district and to connect to this side, and that is quite easier for them to really access Yumbe Regional Referral Hospital, which is very important. And two, if you look at that road, the road has, because it has not been really well demarcated and well worked on, it is hard for the connectivity of some of these social amenities. Talk about water, okay, connection of water from Terego to Yumbe, but also from Yumbe to some parts of the district, okay, from Yumbe Town Council to other parts of the district. It's very difficult because maybe National Water and Sewerage Corporation would not be ready to fix pipes that will be every time over the time be cut by maybe the machines that are rehabilitating these roads and so on, and that has left people drinking that water year in year out, and this is one of the things that is not really right at the moment. Improving the health status of the people is very important, and it is the mandate of the government to do this, and that's why National Water and Sewerage Corporation and the hospitals that have been constructed, and also those that are already working, are in place. So for us to have all these things connected, interconnected, and work in the rightful way, we need to improve. The first thing is the road. The road network, once it is correct, it's okay now. the issues of internet connectivity, the issues of water, the issues of electricity will definitely come, because the barrier here is opening the road to the final stage. Which one is the length? Where does it stop? And how should other services be connected through these kind of the roads? Okay, that is one thing we need to do. And tarmacking this road is very, very important, and it has been a song that has been sung by so many political actors, but also civil society. Talk about technocrats who have for over time talked about this road. Remember the 2019 and 2018 accidents that were on this road around Agoloko Trading Center. If you can remember that scene of people really being killed in that accident, where the tobacco farmers were trying to travel to Pajulu BAT Center to sell their tobacco. You should be able to come back to those memories, and that is because this road has not really been worked. If you have those big chunks of raw materials that farmers want to sell, and the main market is always in Arua. Farmers want to come collectively to market their produce, but for them to come and market the produce, if there's no road, it is very difficult. That means all the interventions that government is trying to put forth to improve the agricultural sector will not work if we don't have access to market, if we don't have access to where these raw materials are produced, to the manufacturing or value addition facilities. And the value addition facility that we have for this region, the key is in Arua City. As for these people from Obongi, from Terego, from Yumbe to access this value addition facility, including those in Ajuman and also in Moyo district, they have to use this same road. And that means we need to tarmac this road. If we tarmac it, we should be able to really get the returns in terms of taxes, in terms of improving the people's livelihoods, in terms of also really doing a lot in the areas of improving household income. That is one plight we should be able to address. And when we improve the services in those sectors and are able to improve the livelihood of the people, we will be really ready to move to the middle income status. Beyond the monies that we are giving for livelihood support, we will be able to really see that people are self-reliant. They are able to do things in their own. Instead of government injecting a lot of money to eradicate poverty, government will be looking at the issues of health, addressing health, education, and those other priorities, other than really coming up and dispersing money that is always going into the mouths of the people instead of it being multiplied. Talk about the seed capitals that have been released several years and have not seen that return. Okay, this is just because people have not been prepared enough to receive some of these things. But also, how do people get linkages to the markets? Okay, how do they benefit from some of these interventions? When we have facilities constructed, people do not know what to do or what to bring in this facility. But also at the production stages, how do people really get into the enterprises that they have really had their dream or put in their proposal and say, I want to start piggery, I want to start goat rearing, I want to start maybe farming, planting, also maybe hash avocado, talk about sear trees and so on. Some of this, when we don't guide the people very well, those dreams will not really yield. They will not really add value to what we want to achieve as a nation, as what we want to do, in order to really see that what we do is beneficial to all, what we do is able to really bring us return. Because when I give you seed capital, I expect you to multiply it and feed the nation. But if I'm giving you money, the money dies like that. Dying means somebody is able to consume it and does not account for whatever he has done. and the impact of whatever he has done is not even seen in him. That is where I was coming to that point. And the issues of people misusing these funds is as a result of no proper guiding principles in the utilization of these funds being issued. Even if we have those documents that maybe the finance ministry first release in the first quarter maybe 10% or 20% or release 100%, but the releases are there, okay, but are the people who are supposed to really utilize these funds prepared? Those are things that we need to look at. Talk about the roads. This is not the only road that has really continued to be a deaf spot, being a barrier to economic development of this nation. But also look at some of the roads. Talk about the road from, I will talk about the road from Dubai Trading Center, that is in Arua district, to Pakwach district via Madioko Road. This is another road that is termed as a tourism road because it links the two big districts to the Mashishon Falls extension, that is in Yadzai Wildlife Reserve. So this is another road that needs to be tarmacked if we want to improve the facility of Ajai and also improve the services that are delivered to the people. This is another road that has not been really put in the priority list of government to really be tarmacked. And for us to have money collected from the tourism sector, we need roads improved. We need infrastructure, general roads, electricity. We need hostel facilities. We need hotels being established. And these are things that can improve our tourism sector in this region. But also talk about tourism being one of the major components of foreign earning, foreign exchange to Uganda. You realize that if we cannot really be able to inject more money into tourism, into developing infrastructure, we will not really earn much. Talk about the Pamoja award that we got recently for us to host the AFCON. If we cannot improve facilities, if we cannot improve road network, if we cannot improve the sporting facilities generally, we will have challenges. For instance, if the one of the stadia that is earmarked for these guys, the players to come and play, is in the Terego district, how will these people travel there? Will they continue to move on these roads that you feel like you are dancing when you are seated, when you feel like you are about to jump off the vehicle when you are seated? Those are things we need to really look at. If we want people who have gone out of Uganda as to maybe who have come as tourists and have gone back to go with good image, that they are able to convince more tourists to come to this country. We need to work on the roads that we have. We need to work on the facilities, the available facilities that are able to accommodate the tourists, but also what are those things that the tourists are much interested in. Let's inject a lot of money into that, not really some other issues, some other things that we put as priorities. For instance, there are a lot of interventions that are being done. We have seen so many presidential initiatives for job and wealth creation that have continued to come. Talk about the Tandikuas. Talk about the presidential initiative for banana. Okay, there's another one called banana, and I don't know, there might be another one for potato. So these are some of the things we need to look at. If they are not really doing much, can we look at other interventions other than giving people seed capital that we should be able to look at in order to see to it that we are able to change the lives of the people. People are able to also give money to build facilities, to build on some of the infrastructure. Talk about some of the community access roads. there are people who could really facilitate some of the constructions of or opening of some of these roads. Even talk about roads that are just moving to your home state. Some people have bushy roads. They cannot even come out and slash where they are coming from home to the main road. And this one you want to be told. Those are some of the things we need to change the mind of the people. And looking at the use of the roads, these trunk roads, most of them are really destroyed by these heavy vehicles. What are the standards that we have for these vehicles to use our roads? We have seen the tarmacs being really destroyed by some of these heavy vehicles that are on transit, those vehicles that are transporting food to the refugee settlements. Talk about some of the districts that are hosting the refugees. Talk about Madio Kolo, Terego, Bongi, Jumani, and Yumbe district, for instance, in the western region. These are the districts that are experiencing a lot of bad roads, okay, that are having bad road conditions that are not there really to help them to really move further with some of the developments. Sometimes some of these heavy vehicles get stuck on the road. They block access to everyone, and many times people end up moving into people's gardens, okay, and destroy people's crops, and nobody is able to compensate these kind of persons. So if we are able to tarmac these roads, at least those cases of vehicles getting stuck on the roads, vehicles maybe engraving or maybe leaving potholes on the roads and so on, will be minimized, because we have seen the tarmacs being very strong and can last for quite a bigger number of years. In terms of continuous rehabilitation of the roads, the money will be saved. But I don't know if it is because we don't have much money that we could be able to appropriate to the road sector. But road is one of the priorities, because it has been one of the leading causes of the accidents that we register in this country. But also talking about many times, even if somebody is overspeeding, he or she will be able to control the brakes when the road is okay. But if the road cannot allow somebody to really break through, it will be hard for somebody to stop instantly. But also you realize that some of these road potholes on the roads have forced the drivers to drive off-road. They now use other lanes other than the rightful lanes. Drivers and motorcyclists, and also these, especially those who are using these motorable kind of machines, they are supposed to keep the left. The pedestrians are supposed to keep the right hand side. But also, if you look at those who are coming from either sides, if all of them are using the same lane, because the other side of the road, for instance, maybe the left hand side has a lot of potholes, the other driver wants to dodge using the right, it inconveniences the road users. And this is the common practice that we have seen many people losing their lives because of this. Because one person will feel like he's on the right hand side, okay, he's on the right, but the other one will feel like the other side of the road is not good, but I need to negotiate through this other line. Because of the misunderstanding, you find that sometimes people collide on the roads, they bump into accidents, and that has really left a lot of lives really lost into this. So as we are in the consultations to build the budgeting process of 2024-2025 financial year, this will be one of the issues, one of the roads earmarked in the next financial year's budget that should be really funded. But also talk about the roads that are leading from a rural district to Zombo, and maybe from Zombo to Nebi. Connecting all this need to be really tarmacked if we want to achieve those motives, because the roads that are there connecting these three districts across the border are very, very economically viable, because a lot of transactions happen on these roadsides, because there are markets, international markets that are on these roads. Talk about the Kampala market, talk about Vra Customs, talk about Lear Customs, and many others that are lying along these borderlines. But maybe the tricky part will be how will the two governments team up to tarmac those roads. Let's move away from that and take a break, and we'll be coming back with other issues that are really touching. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish for Master Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL. Our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish for Master Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL. Our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. Later on, we'll be really moving into some of the issues that are happening in this country. Before we move to that, we were talking about the poor state of the trunk roads in Western region that are hindering a lot of developments, okay, along the districts. These are roads that are rehabilitated by Uganda National Roads Authority, that is UNRA, but also talking about the niche or the benefit of these roads, you have a lot of things, because West Nile is basically a rural kind of sub-region where many farmers produce in bulk a lot of produce, and this produce needs to be taken under vigorous processes of value addition. Talk about the issues of marketing, talk about the issues of exchange of goods and services. People want all this, and many times they come to the city for the better market. And for them to access the city center, which is in Arua, they need to be they need to move through a very good road, okay? Because we have seen scenarios of many farmers getting accidents, many farmers losing their lives on vehicles because of the poor state of roads. You have seen many farmers or business persons even getting into accidents because of this poor state of roads. For instance, last year there were 2 trucks that really slept off the road and really overturned with business persons from Aivu. Okay, Aivu is generally Arua City. The business community from Arua City were moving to Kobala Market, which is a very large market located in Terego District under Omugo Sub-County. This is where every Tuesday and Fridays they go and sell their goods. Many of these really came out with a lot of injuries, although we did not lose anyone from that. We thank God for that. But this is just because of the poor state of some of these roads. And right now you will see that because of the rain season, many of the business persons are really finding it difficult to move to some of these markets to really sell their goods, and that is a loss to government in terms of revenue. So if we improve the roads, we'll be able to have a lot of money collected in terms of revenue, and also enhance the capacity of our business persons and empower our farmers to grow more of these crops once they see that the fruits of whatever they have produced, especially the money, is coming in large amounts. They will be able to really continue venturing into best practices of agriculture to really earn a lot from that. Let's move away from that and look at the commitment that the First Lady has really said. Government is committed to moving away people from the issues of vulnerability. Vulnerability is people being all the time waiting for things from government, okay? And she says this can easily be done through PDM. And the PDM, that is now the biggest way of this country to foster development and look at addressing the priorities of each community at a given local government setup. Talk about the policies, the words where you are confined in groups, in circles and so on. You access 1 million Ugandan shillings as a person, as a member of the group, and you should be able to really prioritize, have a business plan. You are able to really do some business, okay? I'm meant to understand that the people who have been registered as PDM beneficiaries have now been subdivided. Those who are the most poor of the poorest, okay? The most poor of the poorest. Then talk about the middle income earners, and then those who are at least wealthier. The wealthier are those who are able to drive their own car, they are able to buy land and so on. Those are categorized as the wealthier. They are also beneficiaries of Paris development model. And then those who are at least in the middle income earners, these are people who sell in Genje, okay, the mukenes in the market, the tomatoes in the market, but they eat food by chance. Sometimes these goods get perished, okay? They cannot afford to even construct a building, but they're doing business every day, but they cannot afford to even pay school fees for their children. The business they do is only to buy food to eat at home. At some time, the business cannot even bring them food at home. Those are the categories that are in the second phase. The last phase is this one, who is every morning doesn't even think about going to the market. What she knows is the cassava is okay, now we can start eating it. She has the beans, or the beans from the garden, she eats from there, and all this is what she does. And year in, year out, she has the cow color in her body. That is, the clothes are not changed every frequent. She has that one that has branded him or her, is always in it, doesn't know about what government is doing outside there. Those are the people targeted in the first phase. So 37% of these people are generated around these categories that I've talked about. So we are quite optimistic that some of these interventions are really right to the people, but based on the preliminaries that we were able to figure out from Yumbe district. Yesterday I was in the town council really trying to understand from some of the groups. Yesterday I met a widows group, and also I met one of the youth group, trying to understand some of the interventions by government, what they have been able to perceive from planning stage. Okay, you clearly understand that at village level, there are no meetings organized by these LCs in order to address the priorities of the village. You realize that most of the LCs are figuring out the priorities that were set maybe in 2000 or 1990 something. They are always duplicating these things and using the same attendance list and submit to the parish. And this is where service delivery is supposed to be felt. So if the priorities of a village is not captured in the parish, that means at the national level, these people in your village will not be able to benefit from these interventions by government. But also, if you look at the parish level, the parish development committees are there, but these people do not have any time to sit. Okay, they don't have any time to sit and discuss the priorities that are coming from the different villages. What the parish chief and the LC2 do is they sit down and cook their heads to see what they can change or what they feel can befit the community. And this is one thing that is contrary to the planning process that we're supposed to do, because now we're going to another financial year. We're starting with budget consultations. Budget consultations start from the villages, okay? From the village setup, it comes to the parish. To the parish, you will see the parish forwarding it to the sub-county. The sub-county priorities are scrutinized. They are also sent to the district. And the district is the final local government that is overseeing all those sub-county reports and also town council reports. And now they look at the available funding opportunities that they have, and they mobilize for the resources to finance some of these kind of interventions. But also, there are those priorities that need to be addressed by central government, and this is where the local government is able to forward some of these to the central government. But coming to some of the livelihood interventions, I was surprised yesterday that some of the groups, mostly in the town council, that is Yumbe's town council, located in the heart of Yumbe district, you realize that many of the people have not benefited from some of the inputs that government has been giving under the Operation Wealth Creation. Okay, now this is one thing we need to really understand. If Paris development model is coming, and we have people who have not benefited from these things, and they clearly explained to me that most of these things come in the wrong hands. We have these loose social groupings, talk about the political political party groupings, that are there for mobilization, for campaigns and so on. Many times some of these things are channeled through those groupings, and you realize that many people are left out because I've not been an active member of such a group. It makes things very, very hard. Let's move to the production department and see if some of those reactions from the groups that I met are able to be displayed here. We should be able to understand some things from there, but it was basically in the local language because I wanted the rural people to speak to me. I didn't want to really remain on the lam, and that's why we were able to really move to the communities and really understand in the local perspective whether they have been able to benefit from these livelihood interventions by government, but also where are the gaps, what is it that they have not really been able to benefit from and why. Those were the questions I was able to pose to them, and they were able to bring out this. If you can understand the local language, the better. You should be able to listen to this and view what they are saying, and thereafter I'll give a highlight about it. Thank you.
Ma ambuga kande oga adenda mirugoga ojo kuba mkipiro rega amainga ama mamurega aidi ndene rega emeduda mirugoga emeduda mumbege emeduda ai megotusi amu aidi mirugoga tala ofeba banore amadiki askito bada amdo mango detu mulele awanga muga morke gbe wajo mukosa amadi ma tijo lo ya danga feto manga mai mata to mango ri maruso kinga yumbega wo yumbega da ausulu singo gala ani do manga konene ba eti turu tigare asmanga amanore dakula barendreke na make amore ngase kuri ki jola bareke asendu sinde o fe bani o rekur ya reniku anga do mani da bere abido da rete mo masi village galera group ga ajo mavasi man murira ku subene o anda kinga bani village galera ngo rida wa o velo se ineta kulurike le sere a chori keto pire andra mama ngile lo sima mo la gale Kokoliriko masiga mule mangu sula aruja aba mama vuda so mama ngaki sa atelendra sewa manikulu ba firiri gamendro ko gasire musu do gas mane jila chalo galera mama nga mu mangu so manga sala kala se kijawala ke mane jila adru do season lagako aziga ke dia late ngoni deni kala jodi bani kijamani rakeji bajuke man ki salaga amato samani ki sai ne bi da dare tima be da dringa mutoga masilera
Megae elega effort from 7 and netruka maniku rukia rembeke gibangi manejini ini ala gudo madi sender for turna kozito ado process la kite ki korodus tigandra kurum kituda amuso magemi ogako sender zimi vetada wepo kubani sender ba process la galati afagatan council ga uzo mana magu consistent diki sara se remember la kizitu le kane baki mudu toya ngone yani position gana taki fast lot mu pisane rusupiriki ndoga di famani guideline lakini ala petiti sidi ola la gara denda mi kuba madam lakini ola karile da binga yani bare mi mu bara kijo mini imida ini azuli imida ini amomo dikido ala niku lakini kina haki yana haki kwa rumazga amamo arella bara yuki iba only personal family members ki feki ngakiru usupiga se basendera amesumba makuru ama go back vule musuwe pasendera ili modeli dola yufura season de ma do yufuga da yufula ifulidiga afira first route la msendu suleba ta do zirike ayo la kiba mu fia ziriki digate send video miso send ta do ba next baruku da yuf kiba side gas je da ta do pdm ale ta di nilela off scale ba pdm di afera ba character ngone de bani
All right, those are some of the views of the local people that you will be able to really understand that there's a lot of gap from the duty bearers up to the implementation of some of these interventions that are geared towards improving the livelihood of the people. Clearly, you will hear from the last lady that under the program, it was so much to do with the people who are affiliated to some of the social groupings, like those who are supporting or mobilizing for votes for the ruling NRM government. You realize that she cited one of the examples with the Effort from 7 group that has really taken over the yoga circles and so on, and it has left many women out. Okay, those are women and also youths who wanted to benefit from this. People who are supposed to benefit from that program, they have not been able to benefit because they will say, no, you are not an NRM member, or you are not a member of the Effort from 7. And that is one thing the leaders need to really focus on. And remember, under the Yoga program, there were 18 enterprise groups that were really to benefit from this. Talk about from tailor, okay, the tailors group, the carpenter, the local leaders, the political, and so many to mention, but a few. But those are some of the things people are supposed to benefit. And you realize that she clearly further indicated that they spent like over 300,000 Ugandan shillings to look at how they could be able to benefit, including coming up with their constitution, doing everything, but all the processes were fulfilled. Unfortunately, they realized that family members were benefiting from such a thing, and the chairpersons that were elected decided to abandon the group, went with the family members to benefit under that program. But also explaining that under OWEP, it is something that they have been hearing, and they don't know who are the people benefiting in the town council from this Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program that is being that has been rolled out quite a very good period of time. Okay, this is one of the grants, actually loan that is given to women for them to improve on their businesses and so on, and it is specifically to increase women participation in economic development. Okay, that is one thing that was really there for us, earmarked as one of the interventions by government to improve service delivery at local government level, and those are to fight vulnerability of the people, making sure that people come out of the poverty. And she clearly further also indicated that when she was a youth at that point, because now she's above 30, and she says she registered under youth livelihood, but the unfortunate thing was after their group receiving the money, the first people who received the money vanished from there. Up to now, she doesn't know what is happening in that group. And because she did not benefit, she decided to opt out of the group. And up to now, the recovery of the funds is very poor. And there is nothing like the money exchanging or revolving in the communities for those who were intended to benefit from that program. But also now the current, which is called the Paris Development Model, the financing aspect, where people are supposed to register and be verified, be educated, be okay in terms of mindset change, preparing their proposals, and making sure that they are able to benefit from this program. And you clearly understand from some of the women that there is conflict already created in the families, and also people who are benefiting from these projects are not the rightful people who are supposed to benefit. But also the processes have not been transparent from the district to the town council to the parishes to the village level, because mobilization for this was not done. Sensitization was not done, but groups were formed illegally. People did not know what to do in these groups, and up to now there are no group meetings. And also you realize that there is nothing like any of the leaders from the district or parishes coming on ground to sensitize people about this program. But they have seen some people benefit elsewhere, but in their village they have not benefited. And this is one thing that is very, very critical. If we want to address the issues of vulnerability, address the issues of poverty, and make sure that people stand independent as a nation. We are now 61 years from the British rule to being independent. What strides have we made in order to make sure that people come out of poverty, in order to make sure that people are able to maybe support government? Because we have seen some nations really depending on these cooperatives, okay? They borrow money from the cooperatives within the country. So it doesn't give pressure for government to really have foreign interference in their governance, in their democracy system, and so on. So what is it that Uganda can be able to show if we cannot reach those key persons? Talk about the widow groups, talk about the youth groups that are supposed to benefit from this kind of interventions, and they are not the ones benefiting. We have these ones who call themselves NRM mobilizers, Western Effort for Museveni, the Western what. Many of them, you can mention. You realize that people who are benefiting from this livelihood, life-changing interventions, most of them are these people, these kind of categories of people. So if we want to move away from poverty, we should not be able to look at the same beneficiaries over the time. That is one thing we should understand. But also, district leaders have found themselves seated in the chairs or on the chairs in the district, but they are not really moving to the communities. And that's one thing that I've been able to understand from the conversations I had with these women and the youths. I've been able to understand that these district leaders have not been able to move to the communities to sensitize them over these government programs. Now, if somebody is saying, I'm just hearing that they are distributing inputs from you, I've not benefited. For me, I benefited when I went to the village. You see that? Those are some of the things that come. That means the interventions by government will be in vain if we don't have the duty bearers on ground really going to explain to people how some of these programs are going to work, how they are able to benefit, what they need to do. If these are not really knowledge, this kind of knowledge is not packed and really given to the people, we will continue to have this challenge of governing gap, accountability issues, people not trusting the government because they feel like they are not benefiting. It is the few who are benefiting. But also, the few who are benefiting, are they putting the monies into the right use? You realize that one of the PDM beneficiaries that I got on my way around Orupi sub-county, I found her digging her field, and I was asking her, did you benefit from PDMs? She said yes. And after all those conversations, did you really utilize the money very well? What was your priority? That I wanted to venture into farming, but because my house was leaking, I used all the money to roof my house. And these are the things that you really don't expect from one of the beneficiaries, because people have not been given prior knowledge. But also the issues of people withdrawing the whole 1 million should be really something that we need to put on hold. We should regulate the withdrawals, okay? If we want to achieve the target of changing the life of the people, somebody withdraws the whole amount and dumps it in iron seats, has changed their life. And that is all. You think the person has gone away from poverty, apart from listening to the rain that is falling on the building over the night, and he comes out very hungry and is complaining that government has not done anything. You see this? And that's why sometimes people do not appreciate the little effort deployed by government. And this is frustrated by the local government leaders who are on ground. who are supposed to give this information to the people. So those are the things. We will really take a break from here. When we come back, we shall continue from there and move to some other stories that are happening across the country, but also across the world. What is happening on the other side of the world, we should be able to move into that. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish for Master Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL. Our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish for Master Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL. Our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Hiya. All right, welcome back from that commercial break. Earlier on, we were discussing the issues to do with the livelihood interventions by government. Now that the First Lady is predicting that through this Paris development model, we'll be able to achieve much. And said actually government is committed to fight vulnerability through this Paris development model. But who are the beneficiaries of this Paris development model? That we have been really able to highlight, and also picking the community voices and concerns on some of these issues. Remember, the issues to do with who benefits, how do you benefit, who is to be registered, but also looking at the benefits after registering, after benefiting. Are you able to put the money into the right use? And those are some of the things that we are really so much interested in. As a television, we want to make sure that every government intervention does not go into a waste. We want to hold all those duty bearers accountable, because these monies, every district received a very huge billions. Okay, for instance, a rural district received 1.7 billion Ugandan shillings. This was dispersed, and up to now we're yet to follow up on the beneficiaries, whether they have been able to put this money into right use. But also, you as a community member, you can take a look of some of these interventions, how far they have gone into transforming the lives of the people. But also, you have a role to play in terms of monitoring some of these interventions. Talk about the Paris development model, talk about the Operation Wealth Creation, which is still being implemented. Remember, many people received seedlings, many people received a lot of things from government under that program. Up to now, you cannot see where the seedlings have been planted, where the animals are. You cannot see somebody supplying the town with the milk, and we are always drinking powdered milk from Kampala, and yet we have heifers that were distributed to Women Council, Women League, and so on, widow groups, and so on. Many people who benefited under the Operation Wealth Creation, under the NADS program also, there are so many who benefited through those kind of inputs and the equipment to change their lives. But we are not seeing people bringing milk in the town. You cannot get a fresh milk, and right now people get those from maybe from these animals that were given to them. It is hard for you to see that kind of thing, and we need to really look at some of those kind of things to see to it that the implementation of each and every program that government is bringing is to the logical conclusion. Logical conclusion, because these persons responsible, the duty bearers who are directly in charge of these projects, are the people who are getting millions from government as salaries, and most of these are scientists. Okay, talk about the community development officers, talk about the production officers, talk about the commercial officers, talk about many others who are getting a lot of millions in terms of salaries. But if you are getting this money, you are not really doing your mandates. Why should you continue to get this kind of money from people? Because these are taxpayers' money. They are supposed to be really appreciating the services you are rendering. Let's move away from that kind of discussion. Let's move to the issues to do with the people who were really killed in the national park. I remember the Queen Elizabeth National Park witnessed a tragedy yesterday where two tourists really died with one Ugandan tour guide who were moving via Queen Elizabeth National Park. And this, according to police spokesperson, that is Fred Nanka, was as a result of the ADF rebels who came into the national park and used their weapons to kill some of these people. And this included one South African person, but also one of the tourists from the Middle East. And these are the people who came to tour our tourism site, and that is the national park. That is Queen Elizabeth, where we have a lot of things that really come in there in terms of animal tourism, in terms of so many things that people want to see. The usual giraffes, the mountain gorillas, the what, those beautiful sceneries that are created in this national park. But the unfortunate thing is the insecurity that is trying to threaten the lives of our tourists and the tour guides. Remember, in 2016, there were 42 people said to have been killed by the ADF rebels who came into Uganda in Kasese district, and many really perished in this, and 37 of them were students, and students who were abducted. And these are some of the issues that are happening there. In terms of security, we cannot say that we are totally secure, okay? We cannot say we are totally secure, but there's hope amidst all these kind of things that are coming. There's hope now that UPDF spokesperson has also come out to say that they have gotten the reports. They are already following up the issue, and the persons who are actually already tracking those kind of ADF rebels who have come to do this kind of thing. And according to Fred Nanka, this scene was really witnessed yesterday, and it brought to the concerns of how safe our tourism sites for the tourists, okay? And this is one thing we need to really look at, okay? We need to look at the safety of the people who are working at the tourism sites, and also the tourists themselves. Apart from having the tour guides, we need to have deployments around the tourism sites. Talk about the national parks, talk about the wildlife reserves, talk about the mountains, okay? The mountains need to be guarded because those are breeding grounds for rebel activities. And most of the mountains harbor a lot of things. You don't know what is happening up there. You have animals, you have trees, you have forests, you have so many activities taking place in these kind of dark corners, dark harboring places. There might be rebel activities happening in some of these kind of places. Now, if you have deployments, if you have early detectors installed, we will be able to really move on with the fast responding before responding, but having surveillance earlier is one important thing. Now, responding is when the act has occurred. And this is like a post-mortem. Now that we have lost these two foreigners and also that one national that we have, these are very important persons. We need to really strengthen our security system. But also communities, I believe people were there in the view of some of these things. When things happen like that, things of killings happen, there are eyewitnesses. People need to come out and help police in this kind of investigations, but also in tracing some of these assailants who really did that act. Remember, the vehicle, the tourist vehicle, really burnt into ashes. It was quite a very miserable thing. If you have access to some of those stories on social media platforms and mainstream medias, you'll be able to see that it was really a very touching issue and situation at that place. And remember, in these national parks, we have those tour guides, those rangers who are deployed at every national park for Uganda's case. And these are people who are supposed to have patrols all over the national parks. I don't know if it could be the issue of the number of these tourists, the number of these rangers that is not sufficient to really guard some of these places from those kind of intruders who come and just maybe put their weapons or the armed weapons that are really there to cause havoc and threaten our tourists in this country. That is one thing we need to really fast track and look at. If it is the challenge of staffing, we need to recruit more of these people, but also increase the funding for the tourism sector to ensure that we recruit more of these security persons that are the rangers to guard these tourism sites. But also we have some of the places for us to make sure that the tourists are really well guarded in some of those places. Away from that, some of the national stories, you may be aware that Namtumba district has had a challenge of clean water, clean water, acute water shortage resulting from water being not enough. And this district has gone, like the town or the municipal area there has gone 4 months without clean water. That means there's challenge with the health of the people. It trickles down to the industries. The industries need water, and also for them to process their things. And remember, the issue of water is pertinent. Water is described as life, and this is if we cannot really be able to fight seriously to address such issues, we will not really move away from eradicating diseases spread. And also remember, just last month there was a report released that is 47% of the water in West Nile is contaminated. That means if people have no clean source of water, even a borehole is not there, and the piped water system are all down for 4 months, you can really imagine what the situation people are going through. People need water for cooking, water for bathing, washing clothes, and many other activities that need water. Animals might be really in the bad note, really suffering. And in a town center, you have hotels that need a lot of water, and many other things that need this kind of things. And if we cannot really address that issue, many times there are concerns by National Water and Sewerage Corporation that have been really not addressed so much. The issues of having stable electricity to connect some of these water generation points. Talk about where they are able to get water and spread to the people. They need electricity, constant one. Remember, West Nile region ran out of water for 2 months just because the generator was down, and West Nile Rural Electrification Company could not provide constant electricity to pump water. And this could be some of the issues we need to really look into. What is that we need to really fast rush to rescue the people? If people cannot get clean water, if people cannot really do within what they can be able to afford, that means the cost of water has increased. One of the residents was able to be quoted that they buy water now at 800 to 1,000 shillings per jerrycan. If one jerrycan is 1,000 shillings, and the national water cost is at 180, 180 shillings per jerrycan. But now that people are buying water at 800 to 1,000, that means people have been extorted. There's a lot to do with now. The quality of water will not be checked. That's one thing we need to intervene. Now government needs to look at that area very critical if we want to the lives of the people improved. That marks the end of our Kokoliriko show for today's edition. This is Wednesday, and we'll be moving out to the communities to also get more of some of these issues. I hope you got it right, and it was quite interesting that many people were able to really catch up with us. But we appreciate those who are following us on the YouTube channel, and we apologize that the Star Times channel is still down. I've seen messages of people asking why is it that it is down, and that is a technical issue. It is being rectified very soonest, or after some time we'll be able to get official communications regarding to that. And behind the camera we have Dijon Pro, who is managing the camera, and also I have producer Aldo, who is behind the productions of this show. I appreciate that. Up next we'll be having the news in Lubarati with Fete Emmanuel. The team will be right here shortly after this.